Facebook. We are on Instagram. You are there. That is awesome. Okay, here we are live. Yay! Welcome to Fun Friday. Arlene, how are you doing today?
I am doing good. I started the day off with a really nice connection with someone who's potentially going to get me connected into other people that could be run into some hybrid events. It's been one of those weeks. Actually, as a matter of fact, we were chatting with Maria on Clubhouse earlier in the week, and she popped up with a room that she had. I jumped on there, and there's actually some potential collaboration with Maria and I that came as a result of jumping onto that. So it's been a good day and lots of cool stuff going on right now.
That's great. I started my day at the gym. I did not get to play golf today because the my great nieces are their school's been shut down for 2 weeks because of COVID, and my sister, who I usually play golf with, is taking care of the kids because the parents have to work. And so, anyway, no golf today, which is probably okay because we've got pretty bad air quality here today, and the ash is falling from the sky. But I did start the day at the gym for I think I don't go to the gym on Wednesdays because I got early calls, but the guy yesterday was on fire and just murderous, and then today was so like I'm pretty tired, and I just changed out of my workout clothes, so that's how my day has gone. I went straight from the gym to the desk, and that's
Yeah.
where I've been pretty much all day doing all sorts of fun things and posting and learning some new things about how to do stuff on Instagram. And so yeah, it's good. It's been really good. It's been a really good week for me too. I'm trying some new things. I'm doing some live coaching on my, not live, but I'm doing coaching through, and then I publish it as an episode of the podcast. And so I'm doing what I call a marketing audit. And so I'm getting to share some of my coaching thoughts with people. And it's been going, I've done two of them. And so it's going well. So trying new things,
Yeah.
which
I
is
love that.
super fun. Like just like I said, trying new things and trying to, just capitalize on where we are where it looks like we're moving like kind of back towards more online things than offline things. And so I'm just trying to continue to learn and expand. My goal is for people to say, Jesus, I see this woman everywhere. Like everywhere I turn, there she is. She's on Instagram, she's on Facebook. Like I'm tired of seeing her. So my goal is to look to have people like just like okay.
Actually, I'm going to reframe that for you. And you're looking to become a celebrity because they see you everywhere.
I don't know if I like the word celebrity. Can we use a word like a thought leader?
We can use whatever word, but all I'm going to say is not the negative side of
I
that
know.
conversation that I heard. I'm just taking you back into the I see you everywhere. You're doing some amazing stuff. You are brilliant, whatever, but not the I see you everywhere.
I know. I actually want them to think I see her everywhere. She must have something important to say. That is really what and I don't like to me. I don't really want to toot my own horn, but I do have lots of important things to say, and so for me, it's like I just want people to be like, yeah, she's everywhere. Maybe I need to start listening to her. So that's the
Okay.
reality of it.
Okay,
Is
I
that better?
like that reframe. Thank you. I'm sorry, but we can call each other out on our
I would
own
chastise me
stuff.
too. Absolutely.
So
I totally appreciate you're absolutely right. I would do the absolute same thing. But anyway, so
uh,
yeah, I'm just trying to show up in a lot of different platforms and or show up a lot in like Instagram's kind of my thing, and I'm trying some new
mhm.
things there. And it's starting to seem to work. I'm getting more people following me, and I can see when I publish a podcast, and then even when I do now, I'm back to doing two sound bites, which are little, mostly they're under a minute snippets because you can Instagram stories can only be a minute. Otherwise, then they're going to go into an IGTV anyway. So I'm trying to keep them a minute, but sometimes I can't keep them a minute. But that's a little soundbite. So I'm trying to publish a couple of those with each episode, and Um, and I'm finding that when I publish those, I actually are getting some other people downloading my podcast. So when I publish those, like I published one, I forget it was a Tuesday, which I usually publish my podcast on a Monday, and I got a little spike. And then I did one today, and I got a little spike. I did a little, I published a snippet of our Fun Friday,
I saw
which I
that.
usually don't put that stuff on Instagram. This is kind of a Facebook thing and a YouTube thing. But I decided I would, if people want to see us or see, then they want to see video instead of listen. They want to see like little children,
Yeah.
So,
That's, Fun Friday means that we have visits from Xander or whoever. You never know who's going to
it
show up,
happens.
and
It
and this
absolutely
is this
happens.
is Xander's moment.
Yeah. So anyway, so I did put up a Fun Friday, and I got some good response to it, and so I'll do some more of that. Like, mix it up a little bit. Just doesn't have to be podcasty things. It can be
Hmm.
more frivolous, fun things like we do on Friday. I mean, I try to
Yeah.
keep it as light as possible. Sometimes we go down the serious rabbit hole, but anyway, try to keep it pretty light on a Friday. But
Yeah.
anyway,
I was thinking that I was going to go find some really fun fact that everyone needed to know, and I remember that as being a really good thought that I had this week.
and and then it was gone.
And then it was gone. It came, it went, and sorry, I don't have a fun fact that I need to share, that just to make sure we keep it light as well as
Well, it's interesting because I'm hearing I do not a ton, but I'm probably on three Zoom meetings a week of people that I've known because we've been on these calls since March of 2020. So we've all been through the ups and the downs of the last year and a half, but it was interesting to this week and maybe last week, but just because of what all is going on in the world between the COVID and Afghanistan, and just there was
Mhm.
so much. There seemed to be more heaviness
Mhm.
that people were bringing to those calls, and I acknowledged it. I try not to let what's going. Try to let things that I can't control um, affect what I do, right? I try to, if I can't control it, I try not to let it affect me and how I feel, but it's kind of hard not to when things are kind of as crazy as they are. And so let's just keep like
Yeah.
upbeat about it.
Yeah. And I see Vicky Lee just joined us.
And
So
I see that.
welcome, Vicky. So glad to have you here joining us. And it's interesting you bring that conversation up about the heaviness, because I was on a different meeting earlier in the week, and some of that question is how do you stay away from getting drawn into the heaviness of all of the things going on?
Yeah.
Or if you're drawn in, how do you get yourself back up into
Yeah.
that place? And so it's and for me, I know that uh, recognizing, and some of it is to not allow all of that negativity to be around me all the time. It's really being intentional. Yeah, there's things that I want to be aware of so that I can be conscious and aware of those things, but I don't need to dwell in those.
Yeah.
And that I don't need to let that bring me into that really down place. Or if it takes me down for a little bit, then making sure that I take that time to step back and get reconnected and really be, okay. Yeah,
Oh,
he does that if you leave it in his place. You can't leave it where he can get it. Those goggles look pretty cool on you,
yeah.
bud.
If you're watching the video, and I don't think you can really see it on Instagram, but on Facebook you can see Xander's got like these goggles on, and it's pretty darn cute. But
I think those are the eye protectors for the Nerf gun. So,
oh, I got it.
I think it's got a legitimate purpose for those, but it is kind of fun that seeing him hanging out here with his goggles
with
on.
his goggles on. So to your point, Erlene, I think it's really important that we identify for ourselves what is that thing that gets you out of
Mhm.
that space. I mean, we've not
Right.
only got the COVID, and like I said, I'm not playing golf today because some 3-year-old at my great niece's preschool. I have twin great nieces, 3.5. Some 3-year-old got COVID and they had to shut down the school, and my sister.
Mm,
So I mean and then we've got ash falling from the sky and fires that
right.
are out of control, and then we've got Afghanistan, and
Mm,
then we got it's just, and then you've got just the whole divisiveness that's going on in this country anyway. And I'm not trying to bring it all down. I'm just saying, like, it's really important for everybody to have a vehicle that they can use in order to acknowledge that it's there, but not get drawn into it, or to
mhm,
get bogged down by it, or to let it affect them. I mean, I have some friends who they tend towards a depression,
mhm,
and they're depressed about these things they can't do anything about. and
right.
I honor that and I respect that. I mean, I'm not trying to be in the judgment zone, but however, I think it's important to find ways to keep yourself happy,
Yeah.
and yeah, and not dwelling on the all those things that are, and try to find the one little thing. Like, you've got this wonderful, I don't know, Xander is the same age as my great niece, so he's got about three and a half, right?
Hmm.
Right? So he's
Yeah, he
running
is.
around. Like, you get to see that. Yeah, there's great two little, well, they're not so little, but my great dogs who are hanging out. And, I get out of the house and go to the gym. So, I mean, just whatever it is for you that
Yeah.
gets you back grounded in your happy place.
Yeah. I actually, as you say that, I have to share a story from, I think it was last Friday night. On Thursday, Xander came in and he was really upset because he wanted to go to the neighbor's house and get his dinosaur toothpaste and Harper's toothbrush. Well, the reality is that the dinosaur toothpaste and the toothbrush got left in California. So going to Kyler's house was not going to solve this problem. And so before you knew it, we had these big crocodile tears over the dinosaur toothpaste. So I said, would it make it better if I ordered new dinosaur toothpaste? And he said, yes. I said, okay, come over here. So on Amazon, $3.05 later,
Next day
ordered the
delivery.
next day delivery. And so they get home, I don't know, 8:30, 9 o'clock. They'd gone to some friend's house, and Matt's trying to get all the kids to go to bed. And I knew the package was there. And I said, well, they said, can Xander wait just 1 minute? And he says, okay, because he knew actually what was in the package. So Xander comes in the kitchen. I said, come here, Xander. And I pull out the dinosaur toothpaste. And here is a 3-year-old that has this extreme joy and just such excitement over a $3.05 tube of toothpaste. But I think that in that story is the reminder that where we can find, sometimes it's something as simple as our favorite cup of tea or our favorite beverage or our favorite whatever, that we can look at that and say, wow, I am so excited. I have this. And it was this, you saw that his face lit up, and it was just this very precious moment over something as simple as having Amazon deliver toothpaste on the
Right.
doorstep, because it got the other one. And Xander obviously loves dinosaurs, so the fact that his sisters took his dinosaur toothpaste, it's theirs too. But the fact that he
That's a
took his
problem.
toothpaste to California with them and left him behind with some other, I forget what was here, it wasn't the one he wanted, for even like 10 days. And then Harper had the crazy audacity to leave it in California so that he didn't have his dinosaur toothpaste. But, sometimes those simple things.
I
And
agree.
I
I
think that
love that
it's,
story.
yeah, and I think it's really easy to get tied up in knots over a lot of other things and maybe not take that step back to that place of gratitude.
Yep.
And, today's been one of those days that I started off on a high, and throughout the day, it's been one of those that, I have a strong faith. And so God has provided opportunities to praise him throughout the day for some amazing things. I, I was annoyed because I've been trying to get into a chiropractor. I sent them a message on their questionnaire form. I called them, no return call, frustrated. as of last night, I was really frustrated over the fact that, can't you at least return my call? Maybe you can't take me in as a patient. I don't care. Have the courtesy to call me and say, sorry, or have a message that says, if you're a new patient, sorry, I don't have room, whatever. And so I was annoyed last night. And this morning I met with a friend from church. We covered lots of territory on a variety of things. Very much my heart for youth, and he is in that same place. But in that whole conversation, God brought me a chiropractor referral as well. And so even as late as yesterday afternoon, I was annoyed over that. And then today, it's like, here's your answer. And so sometimes it's being grateful and recognizing those moments when those things show up.
Yeah.
And you have opportunity to say, wow, this is so cool. And I mean, this is not just a referral. Yeah, I've got a chiropractor. This is a guy who's raving about his chiropractor on all sorts of different levels. So it's not just you should check this person out. I drive the extra distance because they are amazing. And my wife goes there. And so, and again, it's taking those moments to celebrate even the littlest things. And for you, maybe it's not dinosaur toothpaste, but maybe it should be.
I'm sure it's not dinosaur toothpaste. But I mean, I love that story. And I love the fact that, the other message that I'm hearing is, like, sometimes we just need to let the universe provide. Like, we fight against or we fight towards certain things. I'm having a difficulty with one of my clients that is behind in paying me, and it's just not happening, and it's not happening. And I'm now like, okay, I have no other recourse but to send a demand letter. It's just, and I was flummoxed by it. I've been perplexed by it. Because it's been months, and I understand his business is, struggling a little bit, but everyone's struggling a little bit, and it's just not, it's not okay. And so someone said to me, like, I was on a call last night, and it was weird because this is a call I don't go on, but I went on it last night, and it's really kind of a bitch call. And then somebody kind of does a hypnotherapy thing and tries to right all of our wrongs, and I'm like, oh shoot, what am I doing on a bitch call? Like, that's not what I normally do. But I was talking about this situation, and one of the people said to me, as much as you're frustrated by it, he needs to be lifted of the burden that he has of not paying you. And I was like, wow, I never thought about it that way, but I get it. Like, I've always, I'm sure there's no doubt that he feels bad about the fact that he isn't paying me.
Right.
And I'm sure that weighs on him as well. But it also gave me the okay in my mind to say, you know what, Janet, it's been a long time and it's not moving forward, and you've got to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my long way of going. Like, that kind of was the bitch kind of a thing. But I want to go back to how sometimes when we just let things go, the universe delivers what we need, whether it's dinosaur toothpaste or not. And so I'm in that space and we're doing a lot of things. We're doing Facebook Lives, and we're doing Clubhouse, and we're doing a lot of things where we're trying to do them mindfully, but we're also waiting for things to show up, because these are all new to us, and we're working on how it's going to fit into what our goals are and what we want to achieve. Anyway, so that was about 5 different thoughts in one mishmash of conversation.
It was, but I think if you get back to sometimes you just need dinosaur toothpaste. Just saying.
Well,
and the question is what is your dinosaur toothpaste? Is, I think that's really the question. And it's, if you want to see what dinosaur toothpaste looks like, for all of you who are listening, go out and look for the Jurassic Park toothpaste for kids. That's the dinosaur toothpaste. But it is sometimes those little things, and it's what is that comfort for you? And and that's where I liken it back to, maybe it's your favorite cup of tea. Maybe that's, I'm in this really anxious place, and this cup of tea just takes me out of that place. Yeah. And so as I think about that, I think that is the question, I ran into someone who actually has a practice that they use that talks about your joy chair. And so, what's your joy chair? Where do you sit in a place that brings you such joy? And whether it's a comfy recliner, or whether it's outside a park bench or whatever, but to intentionally go to those places and then find those things that bring you joy and allow that to raise you back up. So,
Yeah.
again, getting back to what can you do to not get lost in the trenches of the craziness of the world? Because worrying about it and thrashing around in that isn't going to help you do anything to solve it.
Right.
But where you can bring yourself up, maybe you can smile at the guy that crosses your path on the street, and suddenly you've lifted his
Sure.
spirit, and all of a sudden you've made a difference by doing nothing more than a simple smile and a kind word. So I think in the crazy world, maybe that's the message is, what can you do to bring joy into your own life? But then how can you turn around and smile at somebody else? Or, for me, it was spend $3.05, buy a silly tube of toothpaste, but make the boy's day in a way
Yeah.
that you could see the extreme joy.
Yeah. I know for me, there's a lot of things, but the garden for me is such
Mm,
a place for me. I mean, I have a pretty big garden, and then
yeah.
just preparing food from the garden for me is
Hmm.
just such a. I mean, just it's a nature thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really, I'll use the word grounds me.
Hmm.
It really is one of those things that absolutely does ground me. So I know what it is for me. And it's
Yeah.
being outside and and then it's also for me working out and feeling like I'm doing something that's good,
Hmm.
for me. And you can't really think about the horrors of the world when you're like your thighs are screaming because you're doing your 1,000 squat that day. Thank you, Dave, who was yesterday's instructor.
Yeah. Well, and I have to say, you have a beautiful garden. I'm assuming you do. I saw it last year. I haven't seen it this year, but I'm sure because you put a lot of love into your garden as well, and it shows in the way that it produces such amazing vegetables. So sorry, I'm not there to be able to enjoy some of those because I know you
Me
got some
too,
good
because
stuff.
I got a lot of them. I mean, the darn squash. I have this picture of, I have this. It's called a 49er. It's a yellow straight neck squash, and this is my third year of growing them. In the last couple of years, I got one or two. I didn't really get much of anything. Well, these darn things, they grow from like 3 inches to like 6 inches to 18 inches in like 3 days. I mean, 3 days. And so
Mhm.
I went, I don't know where I went somewhere. Maybe it was when I went to LA or something. I came back and I found this thing. I have a picture of it. And it is as large as from my ankle to my knee. It's as big as my thigh. It is yeah. And who wants to eat that? I mean, that's just something you throw away. So, or the boys next door say they stuff them, so I take them over there, and they say they stuff them. I don't
Yeah.
know if they stuff them or not, but yeah, I've been
Well,
struggling to keep up with the just amount. I mean, I've got pickles out of my ears. I've got squash. I've eaten squash pancakes, squash waffles, squash casserole. I mean, squash, just squash. I mean, stuffed squash boats. I mean, squash, crazy. And now
yes.
I'm
Well,
just
that
grating it and putting it in the freezer so I can make stuff later. Because
yeah, and that
I
makes a
love
lot
that.
of sense. But as you're talking, that reminds me of the first year that my mom and dad planted zucchini in the garden, and they didn't realize that you didn't need like six plants or something of that. And so I have probably eaten zucchini squash about every way you could ever imagine it, all within a period of a very short period of time because of the and zucchini, just like your yellow squash, is one of those that it goes from here to here overnight almost.
Yeah.
And some and on the yellow squash are a little harder to miss. Zucchini is one that kind of blends in.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden you come out and you find this baseball bat in your garden. And
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
I can only imagine that's what that was.
Yeah, I definitely have that. I wish I had that with tomatoes. I never get as many tomatoes. I plant like 8, 9 tomato plants, but I never get, I mean, I have a good crop this year, but never what I would like because I'd love to
Mm,
can and freeze but I never
yeah,
quite get as many. But I have been eating a lot of tomatoes. I eat tomatoes every day. I put them on
yeah.
everything. So anyway, it's been great. It's been a great, very vegetarian summer. I have not had a lot of protein except for a little salmon and maybe a chicken or two, but it's been a lot of like eating what I have. So
Yeah, but lots of really good. There's nothing like the fresh veggies that come out of the garden, and
absolutely,
especially tomatoes. I
yeah.
That's the one thing that I absolutely miss a lot because we're not growing. We gardens in this yard aren't happening, and I don't know that they ever will because it's my daughter might like to have them, and she has really good intentions, but my son-in-law ends up being the one that has to deal with it all
And
and
that's
he's
not
not so
happening.
interested. He's like, yeah, I'm not ready to do that. And so I don't know, one of these years, maybe I'll get one of the towers and be able to grow some of the things in those because I think you can put them in a smaller space and they don't have the same level of maintenance that's required of an
Yeah,
in-ground garden. And so I could
I've
probably get away
yeah,
with that.
I've
And
heard really good
Matt
things
might,
about those for sure.
yeah, yeah, and
But
I
I don't
think
know how many
Matt might
plants
let
you
me
can
go.
really plant, but
Actually, there's some of them that have at least 16 or 18
oh
spots that
wow,
you can plant stuff.
wow,
Yeah, you can actually put a fair amount in some of them, and some of them are smaller, but I think it's Juice Plus that
yeah,
has one that I
that's the one
think,
I've heard is supposed to be really
yeah, and
good.
I think it's got at least places to put 16. If you're planting lettuce, then obviously you've got lettuce in a whole bunch of spots. But if you put some vining things and others in some of the other spots, you still can end up with some reasonable amount of produce. And it's interesting because I learned about that after I had gone to Disney World, or actually it was Epcot. And one of the tours was taking you by where they were doing all the vegetable growing, and pretty interesting, pretty amazing what they were
Yeah,
doing there. So,
yeah. Well, I know that 3 cucumber plants are too many for one person.
okay, well, that's good to know.
Because I don't even want to go out there because I know there's a whole bunch. It was interesting this year because I trained them up, and then I have a sunshade, So
Uh-huh.
then they went along the sunshade and they went along the so I've got cucumbers hanging and they're everywhere. They really like it there. So like I said,
Well,
anybody who wants some pickles, I've got pickles because that's one of the things. Because cucumbers, I mean, there's not a lot you can do besides put them in a salad, eat them raw, or pickle them.
yeah, and
Like
that is
I
very
made
true. Although
gazpacho. Yeah,
I love cucumbers. So, but yeah, I can see how three plants would definitely be
yeah.
would exceed the.
I made chilled cucumber soup, and it wasn't so great. I've made a bunch of gazpacho, and I have to say I'm a big fan of the gazpacho. So I have some frozen in my freezer, but um, the chilled. I've done 3 different chilled cucumber recipes, and I haven't liked any of them. So
Yeah, well, the one thing that my mom and dad always, or my mom made it, my dad enjoyed it, therefore my mom made it, was always vinegar and water, sliced up cucumbers and onions, and just let it sit in the refrigerator. So it's not really a pickle, but it's a cucumber salad
yeah,
that is very refreshing, and then some salt and pepper on top. And so
throw a
that was
little.
always,
Use some like rice vinegar and throw a little sesame oil on there.
hmm,
That makes a nice little Asian
yeah.
cucumber salad. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a house of I don't like vinegar on my food kind of things here. So I love cucumbers, so I eat a lot of raw cucumbers. Although mine do not come from the garden outside, they come from the grocery store. But um, so I'm intrigued as to whether that would get some interest here. I might have to try that one just to see. And if
Yeah.
not, I would
Well,
enjoy it, and I don't really care.
and the rice vinegar is much less vinegary than like a balsamic or
Right.
or apple cider or whatever. It's got a
Hmm.
little bit more sweetness and a little less tart, so
Yeah.
that
That's
might
why
work.
I
Oh my
was
gosh, now
thinking,
you're making me hungry.
oh, well, it's probably getting close to dinner time.
Yeah, what did
Well,
I
maybe not. It's
don't even
maybe dinner
remember.
time on my coast, but
In your world, like I'm like, what did I even eat today? Oh, I
maybe
had a
that's
piece
why
of.
you're hungry.
Yeah, well, I went to the gym and then the dogs needed food, and you can't put that off. When the dogs need food, you got to go to Costco and get the dog's food.
Right.
So, but Costco wasn't open until 10, so I got there at 9. So then I went to right next to Costco is Walmart. So I went into Walmart and bought whatever groceries I needed, and then I went to Costco, and of course I spent like $400 at Costco. But
Easily.
yeah, so by the time I got home, I was hungry, so I ate a piece of toast, and then I started working, and I haven't thought about it since. So I mean, it's only 3:30 here, so it's not like it's 8 o'clock and I haven't eaten. But I was like, guess I didn't even think about eating today. So and now
Until
all
we
this
started
talk about
talking
it,
about the
yeah,
food and the garden
food,
and
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
All right, here I got a question for you.
Okay.
You
I'm
ready?
sure I've got an answer for you.
What did you learn about yourself this week? Oh my God, you knew that
Oh,
would come back.
I did. Yeah. I think that the thing that I learned this week is to confidently step into whatever I feel like is in front of me.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, it's been a week where I I've done that in so many different places and have been so blessed by what has happened. And so it really is just taking that confident step into whatever is in my path and not second guessing it, but just stepping forward. And as a result, I have potential new collaborations, actually multiple collaborations, because I had someone else who reached out to me just a few minutes ago that, well, actually longer than that, maybe an hour and a half ago, but that saying, they had first asked me, are you hiring? I was like, well, no, we're not a traditional college, but I do collaboration. I do other things. What are you thinking? And so again, another potential partner that we can make a difference in the lives of people around us. And so it was, that's another one of those. And so again, it's not second guessing it and get the question. And it's like, well, no, I'm not hiring, but I always look at this kind of thing, looking for, JV type partners or collaborations or affiliates, any kind of different things.
Yeah.
And allowing that opportunity to be whatever it is, not trying to judge it, just saying, this is what's possible.
Yeah.
And so
I love it.
that would be my answer. So how about you?
There's a number of things that come to my mind, but I'll start with the first thing that came to my mind, which is and it's a little bit about what you're talking about embracing. But I'm starting to like doing video.
Mm.
I learned. I don't know that I would say I'm good at it, but I would say I'm not afraid of it anymore,
Yeah.
and I am doing a lot more of it. I'm doing a lot more solo episodes on my podcast, and I'm taking the snippets and I'm putting them out on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And um, so today I was listening to. So I have a podcast episode that drops on Monday, which is about email marketing, and I'm creating an email marketing workshop that I'm providing. So I did a episode on email marketing and the best practices and whatever, which drops on Monday. So I was editing it, and I had two thoughts. And one, and I don't even know if I want to say this, but I'm just going to be vulnerable, so I'm going to say it, right? The first thought was, uh, I'm I'm seemingly more comfortable with video, right? I mean, I feel more comfortable with video. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with just. In fact, what happened yesterday was I was having trouble with my mic, and I recorded it 3 times, and it's about 40 minutes long.
Mm.
So I recorded it the first time, and the microphone didn't work. And then I tested the microphone, and it seemed to be working. I did it a second time, and it didn't work. So I had to do it 3 times. So that's like two and a half hours of my life yesterday was recording this darn thing. So maybe that was why I'm thinking, okay, I'm feeling more comfortable and good at it. And then how we are all so, oh my God, I look horrible or whatever. And today I had a thought when I was finishing editing or looking. I'm like, I'm kind of cute. And for me
Nice.
to like have that thought about myself, like
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm kind of cute in that little video I did. And that's a big learning for me to be, because I've always said, I would rather you tell me that you respect me, or I'd rather tell me that you think I'm smart than you think I'm pretty. Like, I've never
Mm,
really been that person who was
mhm.
all wrapped up in whether you think I'm pretty. And it just never has been my thing. And so for me to like look at that and say, you're like kind of cute in that video was just so, anyway, I was tickled pink with myself for even
That is
having that thought. So,
well, and I would challenge us all, myself included, because there are those moments. But if you can look yourself in the mirror and say you are beautiful,
yeah.
as we
If
all
you,
are.
if it's even, I love the way my eyes are, or I love the way my hair looks
Hmm.
today, or I mean, even if you can't look at yourself and say absolutely with every cell in your being, I am beautiful,
Hmm.
you can say, I have pretty eyes, or I have my hair looks good today, or I look good in that, whatever it is. I mean, if you could only pick
Right.
that one thing, but I agree. If I could look, well, okay. So for me, this is my thought process. If I could look in the mirror every day and say, I think you're beautiful, I don't care that much about that. If I and I can look in the mirror every day and say, you're really smart. Like, to me, that's way more important to me than to be beautiful. I would rather be smart than beautiful. And I think I am
Yeah.
smarter than I am beautiful.
Well, and I'm just going to challenge that thinking, is that being smart can be beautiful as well.
I, I agree. I totally
And
agree.
and so
We're
I
using
hear what you're
semantics
saying.
here.
We are,
I
but I
to,
think but I'm doing that intentionally, because I think that there are others who can look at that and not necessarily be able to embrace themselves as this beautiful creature that they are. And the fact that you're smart, the fact that you're you have an amazing personality, sense of humor, all of those other things, those are all part of what make you truly beautiful. And
Agreed.
sometimes we
I
put
agree.
so much emphasis on the celebrity beauty of
The
what
physical.
the TV, the physical, and we lose sight of the inner beauty. And I think that that's the part we need to embrace, is that we're all beautiful. We may not have the plump, we may not have the perfect body, we may not have the perfect smile, we may not have, but we are still all amazing, beautiful human beings that were uniquely created to be
Agreed.
just who we are. And
Agreed.
so that's my soapbox. I'm gonna, I'll step down now.
No, and I couldn't agree with you more. When I think about beauty, I think about physical attributes and whatnot. But when I think about intelligence and smart and compassion and feeling and
Mhm.
those kind of things, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm beautiful in those ways because, I am. So,
Right.
great distinction because people use that word beautiful and we think about, like you said, the hair and the how so
Mhm.
anyway, I'm in rabid agreement with you. I couldn't agree with you more. So what fun thing are you gonna do this weekend? I don't have any plans for this weekend, so I'm gonna have to really think about that before I answer it. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna throw it to you.
and I don't have any well set plans either. I'm thinking that at some point I should actually find my way to the beach again. I'm I haven't looked at the weather in the last day or so, but I'm thinking we don't have necessarily a lot of tropical storm activity
Sure.
happening. I know that I know that any of the tropical storm activity that was kind of brewing is all going directions that are not at me. So at this point, I'm thinking that, it might be one of these weekends that I do another run and go check out the sunrise at the beach.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I don't know. It's been an interesting week. I don't know how, but occasionally things it happens that I get involved in the week, and then the weekend comes, and if I haven't already made plans, I'm like, oh my God, it's Friday. How did Friday get here? And I don't have plans, which I always find something, something to do. But this is one of those weekends where I'm like, oh, it's the weekend already. So, I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. I know I'll watch a little golf. If the smoke clears, I'll go out and go to the driving range and hit some golf balls. I know that I'll work on some recipes in the garden. I most likely will maybe go hit some golf balls with some friends or see some friends. But I don't, and you know what? I love the fact, my Fridays are always get up, work out, go play golf, come back, now this, do this, and then I have dinner at your place with Susie Pruden at 5. So my Fridays are never a Friday that I have free
Mm-hmm.
anytime. And so now I'm like, okay, well, I have a 5 o'clock appointment, but other than that, I don't. So it's really I love that. I
Yeah.
love all of a sudden being like, I don't have any plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can go watch a movie. I can, whatever you want to do, you can
Right.
do. And so I oftentimes love the fact that I don't have anything on the plan. And that's kind of what this weekend is going to look like. So I don't know what this weekend's going to be. I'm sure it'll be a lovely one. The weather's going
Yeah.
to determine because the smoke is really bad. So
Yeah.
it's like unhealthy to even go outside, and this
Mm-hmm.
ash is falling from the sky. And every day they say it's gonna blow out tomorrow. They've said that since Tuesday. It didn't blow out Tuesday, and it didn't blow
Yeah.
out Wednesday. It didn't blow out Thursday, and well, it blows out and then it comes back, and so
Right.
it's just that time of year with when all the things that we have going on here. But no, I think I'm just gonna do a chill, take care of me weekend
Yeah.
because
That
I've
sounds
got
good.
some I've got some things on the like I've got taxes that I need to start thinking about, and I've
Mm,
got some
yeah.
other things that I just put them off for as long as I can, and so I've got some of that stuff that I want to deal with. But I don't know. This weekend, I think I'm just gonna chill with the dogs.
Nice. Sounds
Yeah,
like a
I
good
think
idea.
Pete is playing at El Gallo tonight. I might go if the smoke doesn't clear. I probably won't go to El Gallo tonight. But
Mm.
anyway, I don't know. Just hanging out is going to be kind of my thing.
Yeah. Well, and
So
I'm at this point, I don't have any real specific plans going on this weekend either, but it does feel like, when the beach is half a mile away, I should maybe go check out another sunrise because it's always beautiful.
that
It's
sounds
not
that sounds
pouring down
wonderful.
rain. So yeah.
Yeah, I have gotten a little out of my walking because I injured my knee.
Hmm.
But it's so I'm icing it, and so I'll pick that up again tomorrow, unless it's really smoky out, because I don't think it's really great to go out walking for 3 or 4 miles when it
Right.
says it's unhealthy for regular people. So I
Yeah.
might not do that. But anyway, I always love just chatting with you and just talking about whatever comes up, and
Yeah.
whether
And
it's dinosaur toothpaste or solving the world's problems.
you just never know. And
You
that's
just
what
never know.
Friday Fun Foolery is all about, is you never know when the dinosaur tooth, next time maybe I'm going to have to bring the dinosaur
You
toothpaste
should.
so everyone gets to see it.
You
Because,
should.
I have to get up and walk down the hall right now, but maybe
You
next
should
month,
bring
the next week, I'll bring the dinosaur toothpaste.
the toothpaste so we can all see it and
And
understand
no,
fully why
yeah,
Xander's so cray cray about it.
yeah. Well, this is a 3-year-old who loves dinosaurs. So that's really why he's cray cray about it.
Yeah. All right, darling. Well, have a great evening.
I
It was
will.
great
Thank
chatting
you.
with you. I'm
Good
gonna
chatting with
I'm
you.
gonna